أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah number 229, الطلاق مرتان فإمساكم بمعروف أو تسريح بإحسان. Divorce is twice, after which it is either resumed in fairness or dissolved in a goodly manner. Regarding this verse of the Holy Quran, the ulama said that if a husband divorces his wife once or twice, it is possible for them to continue the marriage, inshallah ta'ala. However, if it's a threefold divorce, then this is not possible, as we will see shortly. It's important for us to know that it's not permissible for a man to divorce his wife more than one time on one occasion. So the practice, which is unfortunately very prevalent amongst Muslims, to divorce a wife 3 times in one go, this is completely unacceptable as a practice, and the Hanafi scholars call this or consider this divorce bid'i. This is sinful to do so. However, the threefold divorce will occur. In any case, whenever you have a situation where 3 divorces have occurred between a man and a woman, then they cannot continue with this marriage, and they must now go their separate ways. In Surah Al-Baqarah, the very next ayah number 230, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَإِن طَلَّقَهَا فَلَا تَحِلُّ لَهُ مِن بَعْدُ حَتَّى تَنكِحَ زَوْجًا غَيْرَهُ. And if he divorces her, in brackets again, then she is not halal for him until she marries another husband. Now this is understood to be a 3rd divorce. As mentioned earlier, when there is a threefold divorce, be that 3 divorces in one go, 3 divorces over a period of time, whenever you have a situation where there's a total of 3 valid divorces that occur, then this husband and wife, or former husband and wife, ex-husband and wife, can no longer remain together. And the religious teaching here is they must go their separate ways. This issue, unfortunately, is often misunderstood and misrepresented, and a lot of people are misguided with regards to it. Often people are told if a man divorces his wife 3 times, then the correct thing to do religiously is to make an arrangement where she marries a new person, consummates that marriage, gets a divorce, finishes her iddah, and then she's to return back to her husband. And this is the correct methodology, and this is the Islamic religious teaching. This is completely wrong, and this ayah is not to be understood like this. As we know, the Quran explains certain parts of Quran are explained by other parts of Quran, as is the Holy Quran explained by the Sunnah of the Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And regarding this, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was very clear. In a sound hadith in the Musnad of Imam Ahmad, also narrated by Ibn Majah, Abu Dawud, Tirmidhi and others, Abu Hurairah narrates that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, or that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, la'ana Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam al-muhillu wal-muhallalu lah, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam cursed the muhill and the muhallalu lah. Who is the muhill? The muhill is the one involved in this procedure that I just described. The muhallalu lah is the ex-husband, the one whom this wife is now being halal for. In some cultures, this procedure that I spoke about, they call it halala. Now the point is, and this is very clear in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, and clearly understood by the ulama of the Hanafi madhab were very clear that this procedure done in this organized manner is considered prohibited, and it has the la'an of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and as per this hadith, the la'an of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam upon such people. So to present this masala like this is completely unacceptable. To say a thrice divorced woman should now marry somebody else, consummate, divorce, and then go back to her husband is absolutely unacceptable as an explanation and misleading as an explanation. Rather, what Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah number 230 is saying is explained in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ also, that this is not to be something organized. The advice to a couple who have been divorced 3 times is it's over, you go your separate ways. However, incidentally, at some point in the future, if it just so happens that she did marry another person and now the marriage has been terminated by divorce, she is now permitted to go back to her original husband. So this is the correct understanding of this issue, that this is supposed to, the advice to such people is you go your separate ways, not you make such an arrangement. This is completely wrong and incredibly misleading and a complete misrepresentation of the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Those people who are teaching the masala like this, obviously there is blame upon them. However, it's also important, as I often mention in my radio shows and other teachings, that there is a responsibility upon people to learn the deen. And it's not acceptable the way the majority of us Muslims nowadays practice our deen just based completely on hearsay. I heard this and I heard this, and just the whole thing is based on hearsay. The Prophet ﷺ, in a hadith which is considered sound by many scholars, said, طَلَبُ الْعِلْمِ فَرِيضَةٌ عَلَى كُلِّ مُسْلِمٍ. Seeking knowledge is an obligation on every single Muslim. Not just going by hearsay, but to actually study the deen. And those people who study the deen, inshaAllah ta'ala, with reliable teachers, are saved from these kind of situations and misunderstandings with regards to the deen. So, no doubt, there is blame upon those who are teaching these things to the awam, to the masses. But there is also blame on those people who just have no study of the deen whatsoever and just base things on hearsay and end up involving themselves in things like this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.